And we're back here at Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with Brett Wilson. Brett, you were mentioning about oil prices on the rise and its impact on the Alberta economy. Give us a little bit more of an insight. What's going on in world demand and how it's affecting Alberta?
Well, there's two or three levels. One is the fact that our oil sands, which is one of the major suppliers of crude oil to Canada, and therefore any of the shipping and whatnot that we do, used to be the high cost producer, but now it's, call it, middle of the road. It's actually a fairly economic in almost all oil price scenarios. Now, some of the other oil we've been producing, some of the oil that requires long lateral horizontal wells, is expensive. So a higher operating cost, but all of it's probably $30 to $40 a barrel at the outside. And so now as we're at 60 and 70 and 80 and 90 and $100 a barrel, and you're seeing some forecasts of 150 for next year. But let's call, if we were in the range of 80 to $100, we have the ability to reinvest actively, which is expansion of the oil sands, expansion of the laterals, the horizontals, expansion of actually discovery drilling, exploration drilling, where we're looking to find new pools. So the economics of everything have come back in place. The other thing that's happened in the oil and gas industry is it was grossly over-levered as an industry going into, call it the turn down, the meltdown of COVID. And so what's happening with most oil and gas companies is deleveraging and returning capital to the shareholders because they have excess cash flow right now. But the reinvestment opportunity is really, I'm seeing it left, right, and center in downtown Calgary. I call it Alberta, call it Saskatchewan, call it BC. I mean, we are the Canadian oil and gas industry in the West, and it's very robust. It's very encouraging. And the other thing is, it was very, very predictable. The thought that there was headlines that said the end of the oil and gas industry is nigh makes no sense at all. I mean, there's a guy in Ottawa who works with Trudeau, Stephen Guilbeault. Makes no sense at all. Some of the comments that he makes, some of the thinking he makes. I mean, I happen to believe that the expelling single-use plastics is one of the stupidest things we should be focusing on. Now, am I suggesting that plastics aren't to be recycled? No. The two issues we have on this planet are population, and allowing the population to expand in places that have no infrastructure doesn't make sense, but we're never going to have a conversation about limiting the growth of our populations. So that won't happen. So then we go to the second issue, which is pollution. And as long as you've got countries that are backing garbage trucks up to the ocean and dumping in, I mean, the odds of a plastic straw from Canada making it into the ocean, a fraction of 1% of the straws have ever made it into the ocean. It's the recycling. And we all know, we've heard the stories are legend. You separate your wastes, and then they all go to a dump and they get gathered again. They all get put back together. So the recycling, dealing with pollution, that's a core issue. And that's what we should be talking about, not the panic mode over whether your straw is plastic or paper. It's the recycling of everything we make. Single-use plastics occur in the medical industry. They occur, and again, whether it's single or multiple use, at some point, all plastics should be recycled. So we're misguided with a hypocrisy that says that the fossil fuel industry is causing waste in the pollution. Waste in the ocean. No, it's dumping waste in the ocean that causes the problem, not the production of it.
You mentioned just the reinvestments that are possible now with oil prices the way they are. But with corporate ESG goals the way they are, is that a problem for Alberta and Canada, that you're not getting the reinvestment you need because everybody's signed on to environmental, social, and governance goals that say they don't invest in the oil sector?
I'm struggling with that, for sure. We've got alarmists asking the insurance industries to stop insuring the oil and gas industry. We've got hypocrisy at every level saying that we shouldn't be investing. So ESG's become a bit of a challenge. Do I believe that we should be looking at good governance and good environmental guidelines and rules for everything? Yes, but the Canadian oil and gas industry has led the way on a global basis. We're buying oil from countries that don't have environmental concerns. They also don't have concerns for the rights of women and children. And yet we fund that stuff on a global basis because of our approach. If we were to expand the Canadian oil and gas industry into, its fair and competitive place, which is shipping oil and liquefied natural gas and propane on a global basis, we would reduce the wastes, we would reduce the hypocrisy, we would reduce the impact on women and children of these countries, and we would improve the planet for a much better day. So the idea that we're letting foreign-funded terrorism attack our oil and gas industry in small through the ESG platform, we're making a huge mistake.